Are you stuck, lost, and searching for a purpose? Or maybe you've already found one, but you are just not sure where and how to start pursuing it. Or maybe you've attempted carving a path towards a meaningful life just to find yourself going around in circles. Well, in today's video, I will show you how in just 14 days you can begin to find clarity, set goals, and most importantly, find strategies and build systems that will help you move away from that place of feeling stuck and unproductive to where you bloom and flourish in your everyday life. It will be my joy to know that after this challenge, you are able to march into this year with more clarity and in more confidence. Hello bloomers, welcome back to Shanti Bloom. Happy New Year to you all again. As you all know, December and January are those months in which a lot of people take time to reflect on the past year and to plan for the new one. In December, I was finishing up with an effective time management series, and I really did not see the need to interrupt that series to sneak in a goal setting or planning video because I felt that it was a very important series for us to finish. Effective time management is one of those skills that we really need for personal growth and development, because you can have all the desires, you set the goals, you make the plans, but if you cannot manage your time well, you may not be able to achieve that which you have set out to achieve. Now we are in January, 12 beautiful months ahead of us. What are you doing to ensure that you get the most out of this year? What are you doing to ensure that by the end of this year, you move away from that place of feeling stuck and unproductive over to where you bloom and flourish in your everyday life? Now, trying to answer this question can be very overwhelming, but it would be less overwhelming by the end of this video because I'll be showing you how in 14 days you are able to clearly see where you are, state where you want to go, and have strategies and a well-built system that can help get you there. Now, I don't want this video to be a super long video, so I will just quickly explain to you what the 14-day challenge is all about, and then I'm going to leave you with this free step-by-step guide on how to go about the 14-day plan your year challenge. The link to this free guide is going to be in the description box below, so please, after the video, do check that link, click it, get your free guide, and start your challenge today. Day 1, reflect on the previous year and evaluate. Before you look ahead, look behind. And the only reason you're looking behind is so that you can see how far you have come. It's not so that you can sink into some form of regret. And in order for you to effectively reflect and evaluate, I will encourage that you take one area of your life at a time, and do this reflection and evaluation before you bring everything together, right? Look at that area of your life and ask yourself, in this past year, did I make progress? How much progress? Did I move backwards? How many steps backwards? Was I stagnant? What were the reasons for, all these differences? You can equally ask yourself questions like, what goals did I achieve or not achieve this year? What worked for me or did not work for me this year, and why? Did it have to do with people, some bad habits, or lack of knowledge and skill and resources? When you ask yourself all these questions, I'm telling you, do this with a pen and a paper. You would be surprised how much, would pour out of you. Your eyes will open up to a lot of things. You'll be able to see, have a clear picture of what happened. I've seen where people skip this stage and they just rush into, let's set goals, let's make plans, and then they carry the same strategies, they carry over the same methods, the same habits, the same things that did not work well for them in the previous year, they carry it into the new year, and then they wonder why it's still not working for them by the end of the year. When you reflect and evaluate, you are able to see clearly what is it that did not work, what is it that I can bring over, and what is it that I just need to let go. When you reflect and you evaluate, you are able to see the big picture. You are able to describe your previous year in one word or one phrase or even one sentence, and it's until you can describe what last year was for you that you can know where you are and where you are headed to. Let me ask you, can you describe in one sentence or one phrase or one word what 2021 was for you? Please let me know in the comment section below. For me, when I was done with my evaluation, the words or phrases that kept coming to mind for me was inner growth, foundational growth. And even when I try to visualize it, what I see is like the roots of a plant or roots of a tree kind of extending into the soil to anchor that plant for the height that it's going to have. And when I looked at this theme, it was the same theme across the board in different areas of my life in this previous year. For example, here on YouTube was the year that I really grew as a content creator, as a person, understanding who I was, my personality, and how to use it here on this platform. It was a year that I understood what it takes to be on this platform, what other platforms are connected to this platform. I was able to clearly see and understand how this is going to affect other aspects or other areas of my life, and how I can balance things up. I can just say it was a year of laying down a solid foundation upon which I can now begin to build. Because I took time to reflect and to evaluate and to check every other area of my life, now I know exactly where I am, and it helps me to know where I want to go. Now on to day 2, you have to identify where you are. Now you can see that if you did what you were supposed to do on day 1, day 2 becomes even clearer. That's why I told you that this challenge, if you take it one day at a time and you're serious with it, you will be surprised at how things become clearer and clearer for you. And by the end of the 14 days, you have mapped out your year. Now back to this day 2, I can now see, like from the example I gave you on day 1, it became very clear to me that, I have laid down the necessary foundation to start building for my next level. If I did not have that picture, I can get distracted. I could be doing something else. I see a lot of people jump, to do things because they see other people doing it, just because they do not know where they are at the moment. So they don't have a sense of direction. The GPS will only tell you where to go when it can tell where you are at the moment, right? It's like, oh, if you're here, then keep going straight. If you're here, then turn left or turn right. I've seen people try to, plant a seed when maybe it's time for them to be watering, they had already planted. Or people trying to water an empty pot and they have not planted anything inside, just because they see everybody around them watering a flower pot. Or you take out that plant out into the sunlight, or that seed into the sunlight, because you see other people taking out their pots into the sunlight. They have planted, they have watered, they want some sunlight. You have a seed, no water, you take it out into the sunlight, it gets fried up. You have to know your seasons. You have to know where you are at the moment. Let me ask you, where are you when it comes to your career, your health, your relationships, your finances, your personal life, your spiritual life, your home, your environment? You have to have that clear picture. So that is what you're doing on day 2. When you know where you are, it really helps to give you some sense of direction. When you know where you are, it prevents distractions. You are not easily distracted by so many things that are going on around you. Another thing is that when you know where you are, it also prevents competition that can sometimes bring discouragement. Now on to day 3. This is the day you determine where you want to be by the end of the year. Now you see that everything, one thing leads to the other, right? You've seen where you were, where you are. Now it becomes clearer for you where you want to go. It's so clear to me that last year I laid down the foundation for my next level, and this year I'm down ready to build upon. So you can sit down. I think this is one of those days that you really, really need to sit down with a pen and a paper and, let everything out. And put down, what is it? Put down your desires, put down your thoughts. Many people are like, goals, what do I say? Goals begin as desires, things that you wish and you desire, you want, the thoughts that are running through your mind. Put it down. Do not limit yourself. Allow your imaginations to run wild, right? Put down everything that you desire for this year. And you can go further now to ask yourself questions like, what do I want to achieve at the end of this year? Who do I want to be at the end of this year? How do I want to influence others at the end of this year? What kind of impact do I want to create by the end of this year? How do I want to grow by the end of this year? And when we talk about growth, please, I've said it before, do not only think about addition, gaining, increasing. Growth, let me tell you, some of the deepest forms of growth, great forms of growth, is taking away, letting go. It is so tough, it is difficult, but those are some of the great ways to grow. But to grow by letting go those bad habits, to grow by letting go that bitterness and anger, to grow by, letting go that way of thinking, it is a difficult form of growth. So when you are telling yourself, how do I want to grow this year? Think about it in, those two lights. Don't just think about it in one direction. Day 4, determine or define your why. It's very important. You have to know what the source of your motivation is. Is it coming from anger, bitterness, from fear? Is it coming from the need to prove a point? Or is it coming from the need to be of influence, to help, to provide, to entertain, to educate, to create an impact, in somebody else's life, or to just change something in your own life? You have to know that why, because I had said in one of my live streams that if your why came from, say, anger, what happens when that anger is no longer there? You're going to stop in the middle of the project, right? Or if it's coming from the need to prove a point, then along the way, when you grow up and realize that you really do not need to prove a point to anybody, what happens? You're going to drop everything right there. Remember that your why will determine if you will keep going when the going gets tough, or if you are going to quit. Day 5, prioritize. The reason why a lot of people set goals but they are not able to achieve them is because we set too many goals. After you have poured down all those desires and your thoughts, there are going to be so many, and you cannot accomplish everything this year. So pick that one thing that if you do, it's going to turn your health around. What is that one thing that if I do this year is going to turn my finances around, or my career around, or my relationships around, or my spiritual life around? What is that one thing? Pick that one thing and run with it this year. Now, if you carry the task for day 1, 2, 3, and 4 properly, you should be able to set one goal and it affects positively every other area of your life. For example, one of my goals for health is that I want to really try to have at least 8 hours of sleep every night, and I have put the timeline that I should be able to already have that routine working for me by the end of January, and then I run through with it throughout the year. Now, one of the strategies or one of the ways to ensure that I get those 8 hours of sleep is that I go to bed early. Again, that is just one out of the different things that I have put down to ensure that I'm able to achieve that goal. But see, just going to bed early is going to affect me positively in the morning, in the sense that when I wake up in the morning, I'll first of all, I'll be alert, I'll be awake, I'll be able to have my prayer and meditation time. That is affecting my spiritual life positively. Also, because I'm up early and I've had my prayer and meditation time, my spirit is alive. I'm able to finish up my morning routine on time. I'm able to get to work on time and in a good mood, right? That is also affecting my career or my work positively, because first, I'm on time. Secondly, I'm in a nice frame of mind, and even the way I'm going to be at work and relate with people is going to be in a positive manner. That is also affecting my relationship goals. So you do not need to set 1,000,000 goals in order to transform your life. One goal that is set from a place where you have taken time to evaluate and go through all these steps that I'm talking about can transform your life. If you're getting value out of this video so far, please give it a thumbs up. And if you're new here, then please consider subscribing. Join this beautiful family of bloomers, and do not forget to hit that notification bell so that you'll be notified when more videos like this one do come up. Now, I was a little bit more detailed from day 1 to day 5 because I wanted you to get all of those prompts and to see how you can use them to get the most out of each day, and so you can see how you roll from one day to the next. Now, from day 6 all the way to day 14, it's going to be a little bit more summarized, but I'm going to be highlighting some things that are very vital, important for you to know as you carry out the task for that day so that you get the most out of that day. So please keep watching. Day 6, set goals. This is the day that you turn those prioritized thoughts and desires that you had written down into actual goals, which means you're going to be clear, you'll be specific, you're going to have start dates and deadlines, and then you roll over to day 7, which is the day that you map out your year, right? If you have one of those planners with a year at a glance, this will be very good. You're just mapping out each month. This is the month I do this is the month I do that. And then as you get into planning detailedly and you're getting your months are unfolding, you will be breaking down that map now into really detailed roads of turn left, turn right, keep going straight. Again, like I've told you guys, this is just an overview. I'm going to take time in the coming weeks, make the videos on some of these things and show you what I am doing. Now, when you are mapping your year, keep in mind the months that are super busy for you. Make sure that those are not or distracting for you. Make sure that those are not the months where you start or end big projects. Like for me, it's January, July, and December. January is one of those months that, one is just out from a festive season, and then it's also a year that maybe I have just made some plans, I've set some routines, and I really want everything to kind of set. Let me use a food language, like you just want it to marinate. You want things to kind of set before you kick and start to go. And July is also that month that my kids just get out of school, and it's a birthday month for almost my whole family, and at times traveling can be taking place. So I don't really want to start huge things or end big things in months like that. And December is the same. It's a month that the year is ending. It's a festive season, but even more, it's that time where I kind of really want to calm down and do more of reflection, what is going on, and start doing a little bit of planning and start setting some routines and start changing some habits. So it's not the time for any big things that could be overwhelming for me. So keep that in mind when you're mapping out your year. Day 8, determine your strategy. A lot of us end at setting goals with no strategy, and then we wonder why we never achieve those goals because there is no roadmap. I'm going to lose weight. How will you do it? I want to eat healthy this year. How are you going to ensure that you eat healthy this year? Everybody wants to eat healthy. Oh, I want to make sure that I have 8 hours of sleep. How is that going to happen? I'm going to go to bed early. What are you doing to ensure that you go to bed early? Everybody wants to go to bed early and get enough sleep, but we end up not doing it, right? So make sure you have, a step-by-step strategy or ways that you are going to accomplish that goal that you have set. Day 9, set routines, right? Again, it's related to day 8 because then you have mapped out what you're going to do. Some of it is going to be like a routine thing that will be happening every day. And routines are good because they help you to form good habits, and good habits help you to be consistent, and it takes consistency to succeed. Day 10 is to identify obstacles. This is a very, very important day in this challenge because we often skip identifying obstacles, and then when things don't go the way that we wanted, we're like, oh, life happens. Yes, I always say that there will be roadblocks, there will be things that will happen, but there are obstacles that we are able to see ahead of time and tackle them. Know what those obstacles are going to be. Write them down. Day 11, identify what you're going to need, right? The knowledge, the skills, the resources, what you will need to go on this journey, right? You don't start a project without counting the cost. What am I going to need? What knowledge? What skill? I told you guys about how I started the effective time management series because I felt that that was a skill I needed. That was something that stood in the way of me accomplishing or achieving certain goals last year. So I saw it was an important skill for me to get. So it's important for you to identify what you will need so that you can be able to make, room or make them available to use as you're carrying out your plan. Day 12, declutter your life. Declutter your mental, physical, digital space. It's very important to declutter. And you see, the day before helps you to do this because you've already mapped out what you need. So now when you're decluttering, you know what you do not need. It can be as serious as, getting into that closet or getting into those drawers and, decluttering and organizing. It can equally be laid back, like just lying somewhere and going through your phone and deleting photos and deleting emails that you do not need, deleting apps that you do not need. The important thing is knowing what you need so that you can get rid of what you do not need. So make sure that by the end of this day, you have either decluttered, or the things that cannot be done in one day, you clearly have start and finish days to do the decluttering, and that will be same for the next day. Day 13, gather and organize what you need, right? You're going to get out there now to actually purchase those things that you had identified that you are going to be needing. Now, the reason why I put this after decluttering is because sometimes after decluttering a space, I realize that I have certain items that I really do not need to go buy. There have been times I go buy planners, then after cleaning out, I realize I have a lot of planners. So it's important that you declutter and try to organize before you get out there and buy what you really are sure that you do not have but you need. And guess what? Day 14 is that day where you rest, you relax, you reflect through these new goals, and you replenish, getting ready to take action the very next day. Now, if you've noticed, I did not put prayer and meditation on any of the days. And this is because this year, if you're going to succeed, prayer and meditation is not going to be something that you do on day 1 or day 2. It's going to be a lifestyle. Walking with God should be a lifestyle for you this year, because you will need Him at the beginning, you will need Him in the middle, you will need Him at the end, you will need Him every day. You will need His grace and His mercy along the way. Trust me, you're going to need His strength and His wisdom. You will need Him to uphold you with His righteous right hand. You're going to need Him to guide you, because again, like I said, we can only plan as far as we can see, but then He is a God who sees the end from the beginning. He's a God who makes all things new. He's a God of surprises. You can say, well, maybe this is just the year that I'm going to plant, and then before you know it, you plant, you water, it sprouts, it grows, it branches, right? That is the God. Or you feel like, oh, I'm going to do 5, 6, 7, 8, and He's like, hey, I know where I'm taking you. This year we're going to do just this one thing, and we're going to do it well. So we have to rely and depend on Him and walk with Him along the way, because at the end of the day, He is the master planner. So thank you all so much for watching, and I hope that you're going to click that link in the description box below, grab your free 14-day plan your year challenge guide, and start your challenge today. It's going to be a great year for you because God is on your side. See you in the next video.